Alright, this is The Adventures of Buratino, aka Russian Pinocchio. I think it's Russian. It's a Russian movie, so yeah, this is based on a book that is obviously heavily inspired by Pinocchio, and yeah, it has a lot of the story elements, but it kind of throws in this little treasure hunting type plot, and the Pinocchio's name is Buratino in this one. Geppetto's name is Papacarlo. And yeah, we still have a talking cricket in this version. It doesn't follow Pinocchio everywhere he goes, like in the Disney movie, and he doesn't get squashed like in the original book. Let's see. There's still a fox and a cat. They're like secondary villains. And there is an evil puppet master who does remind me quite a bit of Stromboli. Technically, he's supposed to be Stromboli, the stand-in of the character in this version of the story, yeah. So, yeah. And there's a bunch of other minor villains, and there's this girl who's technically the, I guess she's supposed to be the Blue Fairy, because I know the Blue Fairy had blue hair in the original book, and there's also a sad clown puppet who I think is supposed to be based on some kind of opera. Because I know the character from like this old, like one of the first animations ever made. If you look at my video on where I talk about the history of early animation, yeah, there's a cartoon that's based on this opera character or whatever. Yeah, I think it's like a famous sad clown. Okay, I'm getting a little too, yeah, let's just talk about the movie itself. So, I liked it. Was it great? No, but I quite enjoyed it. You know, the characters were quite likable and kind of adorable, most of them. Yeah, at least the sad clown kid definitely stole the whole movie. And yeah, Buratino was likable. He's so yeah, it's kind of like the book, or the original Pinocchio book. He is kind of naughty at the beginning, although he's definitely not nearly as bad as the character supposedly is in the original book. But yeah, I guess they're playing him up more as a hero who gradually learns over the course of the story. Anyway, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say about the story. This one issue I have with the movie is that it was a little cluttered and a bit confusing. Like, I guess I got the basic gist. You know, the puppet master wants the titular, or it's based on a book called The Golden Key. He wants the golden key so that he can, unlock this secret thingy behind this tapestry at the not Geppetto's house. He's actually a organ grinder in this version, not a toy maker. And yeah, it's kind of hard to follow a lot of the time, and I do think there were a few more villains than it needed, like this bat and a bunch of mice and stuff like that. And I am walking away from this area so I can get away from the barking dog. So yeah, yeah. Honestly, I think the puppet master and the and the fox and cat were enough. But yeah, it was still fun enough. I did quite like the animation. Russia's definitely developing into a bit more... Their animation's getting more lively now. They're finally starting to look a bit more like really old Disney movies. So I'm not sure if that's a step forward or a step back. It's definitely not as pretty as a lot of their older stuff, but I do like how they're finally, they're finally putting a little more emphasis on, like, it's becoming more upbeat, if you will. I don't know, a lot of the older Russian movies were very slow, and I don't know, there wasn't a whole lot in terms of character, but is there much else to say about this? It was fun. I'm glad I watched it. But yeah, there's not a whole lot it has to offer compared to some of the other movies I've watched. It's a little flawed, but yeah, I liked it. So I give it a 7 out of 10. And I'd recommend it if you're interested. It's on YouTube, so yeah, you can look it up, no problem. And actually, I forgot to talk about the Not Blue Fairy's obsession with washing hands. Like, she seems to be like a germaphobe or something. There's kind of a running joke where she like keeps telling the other guys to wash their hands. I don't know, I thought it was kind of amusing. Although she's not the most pleasant blue fairy I've ever seen, because she gets set off by the littlest things, and when Pinocchio spills ink all over his paper, she like has him locked in her attic or something. Anything else little things I want to point out? Well, there are some confusing things, like how all the puppets know who Buratino is. Like the day after he's been made, he goes to the puppet show and somehow they all know who he is, even though he was made, literally born yesterday. And also the door behind the tapestry for some reason has him carved on it, and yeah, it's weird, but whatever. The movie doesn't make complete sense, but yeah, I still enjoyed it. And yeah, I guess that is the last animated movie of the 1950s. So yeah, I guess next I move on to the 60s, and I guess that's all there is to say. Mash it and smash it, signing off.